In this session we're going to go into the Vipassana practice, and we're going to start at the foundation level. And one of the first insights we are trying to cultivate in the Vipassana practice is the insight into impermanence. And one way we can do that is by focusing on the body. And one way to focus on the body is to scan the body. And so we're going to begin with a meditation to scan through the body, noticing the reality of the body, noticing that everything we experience, all the sensations in the body, are changing moment by moment. So this is quite a classic approach to the Vipassana practice in some of the Theravada Buddhist traditions. So let's begin with that, and then we'll discuss a little bit more the actual Vipassana practice. So 20-minute practice. So preparing the body, keeping the back nice and straight, and allowing the entire body to become completely relaxed. Allowing the breathing to settle into its natural rhythm. Relaxing more deeply with each out-breath. And with each out breath, letting go of any thoughts that may have arisen. Allowing the mind to come to rest in the present moment. Simply becoming aware of the rhythm of the breath. And then we can begin the Vipassana practice by scanning the body. So bring your attention to the crown, the top of your head, and simply notice any sensations in this area. Any sensations on the top of your head. And then slowly move your attention down to the area of the face, noticing any sensations in the face. And then slowly moving your attention around to the back of the head, noticing any sensations there. Slowly moving down to the area of the neck, noticing any sensations. And then moving over to the left shoulder. Noticing sensation, any sensations there. Moving down to the left upper arm. The left elbow. The left forearm, noticing any sensations there. Moving down to the palm of the hand, left hand. Right down to the fingertips, noticing any sensations. Moving back up to the right shoulder, noticing any sensations there. The right upper arm. The right elbow. The right forearm. Down to the right hand. Right down to the fingertips, noticing any sensations. Then moving back up to the upper back, the area between the shoulder blades, noticing any sensations there. Moving slowly down to the middle back area. And down to the lower back. And moving back up to the upper chest area, middle chest area. Moving slowly down to the area of the stomach. And down to the abdomen. Noticing any sensations there. And then moving across to the left thigh, the left hip. Moving slowly down to the left knee. Down to the left shin and calf. The left ankle. The left foot. Right down to the tips of the toes, noticing any sensations. And moving back up to the right hip. The right thigh. Moving slowly down to the right knee. The right shin and calf. Down to the right ankle. The right foot. Right down to the toes. And now simply become aware of sensations throughout the body. So what's the purpose of that meditation? The purpose, of course, is to come to realize impermanence with respect to the body. Now, of course, there seems to be a single solid body here. That's how we experientially see our body. But if we pay close attention to that body, what we notice actually is not a single solid body, but just a mass of sensations and vibrations. That's the reality of the body. And of course, to be able to see that clearly, we need a very clear, focused mind when we do this scanning. So therefore, of course, we need shamatha as the basis for vipassana practice. And we can see this very well in the Goenka Vipassana retreat. Maybe some of you have done that retreat, coming from the Burmese tradition. And it's called a 10-day Vipassana retreat, but technically that's a bit misleading, because actually those of you who've done it, of course, know very well that for the first 3 or 4 days there's no Vipassana. For the first 3 or 4 days you're focusing at the entrance of the nostrils. So it's shamatha. And of course, the reason being that if we don't have a clear, focused mind, when we do the scan, it won't go very well. So we spend, in that retreat, 10 hours a day focusing at the nostrils for 3 or 4 days. So hopefully the mind is a bit more calm and clear. Then we scan the body, and we can come to really see that actually there's just constant change here. And that will have a very dramatic effect on the way we see ourselves in the world. And as I already mentioned, is if we can experientially see things, not just the body is constantly changing, but everything else is constantly changing. If we can experientially see this, it gets quite difficult to have attachment to pleasant things and aversion to unpleasant things, because there's nothing to grab or push against. There's just change, flow of change, which means that we'll enjoy things much more, much less mental afflictions. So let's now have a look at the Vipassana practice in a little bit more detail. So we saw that we can talk about a number of levels of practice, and the foundation exemplified by the modern day Theravada traditions. The compassion wing of the practice were these 4 immeasurables we looked at. And that in the Mahayana traditions, they build on top of the 4 immeasurables and cultivate bodhicitta. And in the Theravada traditions, again, the wisdom practice, the Vipassana practice, again, coming from within the 4 Noble Truth systems of teachings, were these 3 practices called the 3 marks of existence. And then in the Mahayana, they build on top of the 3 marks of existence, and the Vipassana practice is mainly this practice, wisdom of emptiness. So remember, in the Theravada traditions, the goal of the spiritual path is nirvana, and through these 3 insights into the 3 marks of existence, in particular the what's called the no self, we move along the path to the goal of nirvana. So what I'd like to do in this session is look at these 3 marks of existence in more detail. And then in this evening session, what is the model used in the Theravada traditions to describe the stages of progress in the Vipassana practice, the stages of progress to the goal of Nirvana. So it's usually a 4-stage model that and we'll look at that this evening. Tomorrow then we're going to be looking at the emptiness practice within the Mahayana tradition, and also together with that we're going to look at the model used in Mahayana in terms of the stages of the path to the goal of enlightenment. And that's usually a 5-stage model, so we'll have a look at that tomorrow evening. So I'd like to now look then at the 3 marks of existence. So, when we talk about mindfulness, then in the Shamatha practice, we are cultivating or strengthening mindfulness. We are developing our mindfulness. And then, on the basis of Shamatha practice, having developed good mindfulness, then we apply that mindfulness to investigate the nature of reality. So we're applying the mindfulness that we cultivated in Shamatha to investigate the nature of reality. How do we apply mindfulness in Vipassana? Is we often talk about the 4 applications of mindfulness.